Hey lot, it's Taara, back for another blatherine video. I know I'm making a lot of them lately. Depending on Mary's say-so, I'll either be posting this on Saturday or later in the week. I just want to make it clear that I'm recording this before the Rebel flesh went up, so anything that gets revealed then is completely irrelevant to what I'm saying now. Let's get started. So since we started making a theory channel, I've been trolling Tumblr for a lot of theories, and the weirdest one I've heard is that River is Amy and Rory's daughter. Now, given that all of these theories tie together, and that girl who was regenerating in the alleyway was also their daughter, that means that Amy and Rory had a blonde child who is part Time Lord, which makes no sense because they're both human, unless Rory is a Time Lord. That would actually be hilarious. What if Rory is a Time Lord? If Rory was a Time Lord, that would explain why they keep killing him, because they can get away with it. They can just keep killing Rory, and he'll keep coming back. Rory's not a Time Lord, I'm pretty sure of that. Egg on my face if at the end of this series they show that Rory's a Time Lord, but Rory's not a Time Lord. If River really is Rory and Amy's daughter, I feel a bit weird about the Doctor's relationship with her. Especially some of her comments. I mean, she's full of innuendo. She and Jack Harkness should have a series together, like innuendos in space. I'm quite the screamer. If she's Amy and Rory's kid, that is so weird to me. Well, then maybe my theory about River being in the spacesuit is right, and it kind of ate her again and then kept her there, and just showed up and shot the Doctor. No, but that one doesn't make sense either, because the thing is, River shot at the astronaut while the astronaut was going back, and you wouldn't want to shoot at yourself, you wouldn't want to kill yourself, that would actually make no sense. The other theory I had, where River kills Rory, if she really is Amy and Rory's daughter, surely you would recognize your own father. She didn't recognize her own father during Big Bang. No, not Big Bang, Pandorica Opens. Actually, she would have stopped existing. Actually, the fact that she didn't recognize Rory just kind of puts an end to my she shot Rory theory, because I'd hope you'd remember someone you killed and are now spending years in prison for killing. I also came across another theory, and this one is actually well thought out enough that I think it deserves some credence. River is Romana. For those of you who don't know, Romana is a time lady. That whole part with the Dalek, I mean, first off, at that time I was thinking, who is River's song that she can make a Dalek beg for mercy and beg for its life? Romana was the lady president of Gallifrey during the Time War, and she was held hostage by the Daleks for 20 years. I would develop kind of a grudge against a race that held me hostage for 20 years. If you were lady president of Gallifrey during the Time War, you killed a lot of Daleks, and you probably didn't have a lot of qualms about doing that. The other thing is she worked for the Bureau of Ancient Records, and she keeps saying, I'm an archaeologist, but she never really goes into it that much. She'll just be like, oh yeah, I'm an archaeologist, and then just pulls behind and, ooh, weird new theory. I'll get to that in a second. She never elaborates on that. And the other thing, she knows Gallifreyan. She can read and write Gallifreyan. The Time Lords are dead. Why would you need to know Gallifreyan? Who would be there to teach her? Well, I suppose the Doctor could have taught her Gallifreyan. And another thing, because of this brilliant book of Doctor Who. Yeah, you guys thought I forgot about this, didn't you? There's a specific page in this book. This is just spoilers, as far as I'm concerned. They say Dream Lord teasers. I really think it would have been better if they had River Song with the word spoilers above this. Don't think I haven't been poring over this page. A couple of these have already come true. Some lies are too much for the psychic paper. Or, the only water in the forest is the river. Which actually, there has been a kind of water motif going on with the people's names. River, and then the ponds. Ooh. So maybe the ponds won't be in the forest. Actually, the stuff with river just tends to involve forest, doesn't it? Forest of the Dead. In Time of Angels or Flesh and Stone, I consider that one giant arc. But with the Weeping Angels, they were in a forest too. Something about forests and water. It's been a motif for the past couple of series, and I don't know why. How could a fellow Gallifreyan stoop so low? Here's the thing about the Dream Lords teasers. They were like, some of this is true, and some of this we're just making it up and putting it in there to mess with your heads. But John Sims' master has kind of been vanished back into the Time War, which is time-locked, so you can't get him back out. So I'm sure they'll figure out a way. One more thing that bugs me, Davros, because we just rewatched The Journey's End, and Davros was there, and they never quite explained how he got back out. I like The Journey's End. I love the Dr. Donna, but I kind of wish they'd tied up that loose end. How could a fellow Gallifreyan stoop so low? People were thinking that it would be a different Time Lord, and I thought that was what they were going to do with the Doctor's wife. So yeah, that's an interesting theory that River's song is actually Romana. Of course, most people are saying the problem with that is that Time Lords can sense other Time Lords and Time Ladies. Some of you might recall that with the Master, the Doctor actually detected him by kind of sniffing the air. I kind of miss that. That's kind of how Idris identified the Doctor, didn't she? She just kind of came out and she was like... But that can be explained as well, because both the Doctor and the Master at some point in time had a fob watch. But he didn't detect Yana as the Master when he saw him, because Yana had his little fob watch that made him human for some time. This is all nice to speculate on River Song's identity, but really, we all know this isn't going anywhere, because after this two-parter, we're going to find out who River is. I mean, Christ, it's only been 3 years. Back to the other theory I had in the middle. It's actually an absolutely crackpot idea now that I'm actually looking at it closely, but it was a weird thought that was running through my head because I kept wanting to call the Silence the Ood because they kind of look similar with their heads like that, except that the Ood, as Rory said, are... whereas the Silence are all eyes and... How do you close these things? I don't think there's a single Doctor Who closer. He's not very good at saying goodbye, is he?